Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning for some. My name is Denisha Price, and I am one of the chapter activities coordinators at ACI. I would like to welcome you to our virtual leadership webinar series today. Due to the recent pandemic, we developed these short webinars to assist our chapters during these unforeseen economic times. And today's webinar is a deep dive into how to successfully use Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Our speaker today is Emily Fogelman. And Emily recently joined the chapter activities team at ACI after working with the Building Owners and Managers Association, a client of AOE. She has a bachelor's degree in marketing from Wayne State University and a master's degree in elementary education from Boston State University. She has several years of marketing, social media, and sales experience in a variety of different industries. She has managed the social media pages for several companies, and her expertise in social media has allowed her to present material on how to engage with followers and increase awareness. Please join me in welcoming Emily, and now she will begin today's presentation.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera just so we can see this presentation a little bit better. So like Denisha said, today we're going to take a deeper dive into how to use Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn for business. So we'll go over audience and content types, a brief overview on advertising for each platform, and then just a quick demo on each platform as well. So to start off with Facebook, we're going to go off a little bit over some of the audience details. So as far as the active users, there's currently 1 billion daily active users on Facebook. 69% of US adults use Facebook and 74% visit the site at least once a day. When it comes to the primary goal for most users, it's normally to stay in contact with friends and family, with 88% reporting that as their biggest reason for visiting. With 269 million users, India has the largest user base of any country, followed by the United States with 183 million users and 123 million users in Indonesia. The primary age range for Facebook users is between 18 and 49, and women are currently a bit more active than men. It's also important to note that you can learn a lot about your specific follower demographics by using the Facebook Insights tool, which provides specific details about who is following or liking your page. So now let's talk a bit about content. So when considering what to share on Facebook, it's important to keep in mind some of the tips and recommendations for content creation. The first is that quality content wins. So you only want to post content that you think your followers will find value in. Otherwise, it just isn't worth it. Also, post questions. Page visitors are much more likely to pay attention and respond to your posts if you address them personally and encourage them to get involved. Try to invite conversations whenever possible with each post that you do. Also include a call to action. So if you want your audience to do something, you should tell them to do it. You can prompt a comment, share, opt in, like, RSVP, or any other action related to the post you're sharing. Next is to celebrate holidays. So this is a great way to increase the amount of content you're creating. Plus, you can use the hashtags related to the holidays so that you can start to appear more frequently in native searches that are related to that holiday specifically. Another important thing to remember is to avoid posting too often. So on Facebook, you shouldn't post as many times as you can on Twitter. Twitter, you could post 30 plus times a day and barely get noticed. But if you post that often on Facebook, you'll probably get unfollowed or banned. So you want to try to keep it at like 3 to 4 times per week. Always important with all social media is to engage, always respond, always comment, and always engage. It's the best way to be successful. Share industry news and become an industry resource, and then use visuals in every post. Images have proven time and time again to improve engagement, especially when they tell a story or connect with the audience on a personal or emotional level. So Facebook posts with images, in fact, see more than double the engagement of basic text posts. So as far as the type of content that you should share, Facebook is interesting because it's considered a hybrid platform, which basically means it's kind of a cross between Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. So because of this, you really have the opportunity to post a lot of different types of content that your audience will enjoy. So a couple examples of high performing content on the Facebook. The first is testimonials. So Facebook is a great platform to post these on. You can take a video of one of your customers or members or followers saying good things about your product or service, and it can really go a long way. It can have a snowball effect and will help you to get more noticed on Facebook. Next is behind the scenes. Everyone loves to get kind of an inside scoop on what is going on behind the scenes. So you can really get your customers and followers to engage by sharing some content that they really wouldn't see anywhere else. Next is blog posts. So having a blog in itself is a really powerful feature because you're providing free value to your followers and customers. So you should share your blog posts on social, and it will be more likely that your consumers and followers will be able to stay with you and grow with you. They start to consider you more of an industry resource. The last is contests and giveaways. Everybody loves them, and they're one of the best ways to drive engagement and reach on Facebook. So Facebook is a great platform for this because people can share with their own followers if the contest is something that they think is worthy of sharing. So to go briefly over a little bit of advertising. So the cost of Facebook ads depends on your bidding model. So it goes through cost per click, which is about 97 cents per click, and cost per 1,000 impressions. So basically with cost per click, it would be 97 cents every time somebody clicked your advertisement. When we think about impressions, and it would be $7.19 per 1,000 impressions, that's really just the people that would see your ad while they're scrolling on Facebook. So they're not actively interacting or getting involved with the ad. They're not clicking it, which is what makes cost per click and cost per impressions different. Facebook can also serve your ads for you based on what they perceive as optimal engagement time, or you can have them set on a set schedule. One of the biggest benefits of Facebook ads is the ad targeting function, which basically allows you to define your audiences based on different parameters such as location, age, interest, and demographics, and set your ads to reach those different parameters. They also have a custom audience feature, which will target members of your audience who've interacted with your business in the past, and a lookalike audience feature that can help you target new prospects based on your current customers or followers. So next, I recorded a video, a Facebook demo of me using the ACI chapter activities page. So I'm just gonna let it play, and then I'm gonna briefly speak on a couple of the things that I'm showing. So when you take a look here, this is the ACI chapter activities Facebook page, and this is what I see as an administrator of the page. So as you scroll down, this is kind of gives you the brief overview of your entire page. So you can see the about info, videos, photos, upcoming events, and then all of the posts that you've shared recently. So you can also view the page as a visitor, which would basically allow you to view the page as someone who isn't an administrator of the page. Next, we're going to go to the inbox. And so this is where you'll see any of the direct messages or anything that you've received via direct message on Facebook. Events is where you can set up certain events that people can register or RSVP to. Next, we're going to go to notifications, which is where you'll be able to see any new interactions that anyone has had with your page, so you can see if somebody's liked the page, shared it, or commented on it. We also have publishing tools, which is a great resource to use. You can either create your posts within this section, or you can go to scheduled posts, which is a really great tool to use if you have a calendar that you've planned out and you want to schedule posts for the future. This will allow you to create the posts and schedule them for a later date. So once we go back to the home screen, we're going to go to the Ad Center, and this is where you would set up, oh, I'm sorry, we're going to Insights first. So this is what I was referring to previously, where you can really see some of the demographics about your followers. So this is kind of an overview, and you can change the days back to 28 days previously. But you can also go into specific groups. So if you click followers, this is where you can see a lot of the info about your followers, and you can set the start and end date here. You can also go to posts, and this is a great way to kind of take a look at some of the posts that you've shared recently, and it will kind of give you the demographics about the statistics about each post, so that you can see which ones are performing well and which ones maybe need some work. Next, we're going to go to the Ad Center here, and this is where you would set up any of your Facebook advertising that you would like to use. And then the last section that we're going to go to is the Resources and Tools section. And this is a really good place to get a little bit more information. If you have questions or concerns about how to run your business page, this is a really good resource for anybody who's new and may have specific questions that they can't find via internet research. So next we're going to talk a bit about Twitter. So we're going to start a little bit about Twitter audiences. So to start off, there are currently 333 million global monthly users on the platform. 22% of US adults use Twitter, and 66% men and 34% women use the platform internationally. It's also really interesting to note that in the United States, only 10% of users account for 80% of all the tweets written. Also, 79% of users are outside the United States, with 262 million users. This is likely because Twitter is often used for breaking news around the world. So there's a lot of international use with the Twitter platform. As far as the content and what you should consider, one of the best things to do is find out which tweets are performing the best, and that will give you an idea of the type of content that your audience is most interested in seeing. And you can do this using the Twitter analytics tool that's provided to all users. As far as content on Twitter, there's a couple things that you want to keep in mind. The first is always use hashtags. Tweets with hashtags get almost double the engagement than tweets without hashtags. So on Twitter, you should always make sure you use hashtags that are related to your specific tweet. Also, ask questions. You can do this by creating a survey on Twitter directly, or just asking a question and retweeting people's responses. Also, encourage engagement. Twitter is all about creating a two-way channel of communication with your audience. So it's really important to create content that encourages your audience to engage with your tweets. Also, keep the copy short and sweet. So Twitter allows for 280 characters, but a lot of research suggests that the best practice for the number of characters to use for successful tweets is between 80 and 110 characters, which includes hashtags and user tags, especially if you're looking to increase the number of retweets. Also, be conversational. If you want other users to engage with your content, a good way to start is always interact with them first. So like, retweet, and comment, and really use other users' content to get involved in the conversation. As we said previously, images are really successful on social, so always use images and add them to your tweets. You'll get more shares and clicks than the tweets without images. Monitor events and trending. Take a look at the trending topics on Twitter, which typically have hashtags to go along with them. So you can join in that conversation, use the hashtags, and then your tweets will be more visible if you're getting involved in those active trending topics. Also, retweet, like, and comment. So it's become pretty common practice to just retweet content, but it's really important that if you retweet, you should also include a comment as well, because that's one of the best ways to layer on the engagement and really get a conversation started. Also, tweet early and often. So like we said before, you can post 30 times a day on Twitter and barely get noticed. So try to tweet throughout the day instead of trying to get all your tweets out during business hours. You really want to tweet often and you want to tweet early. Also, be an industry resource. Instead of just automatically tweeting every new post that's related to your industry or recent news, you really want to take time to pick out things that you really think that your users will find value in, because that's the best way to drive traffic and engagement. Also, use your data to make decisions. So instead of just doing things on a whim, take a few minutes, look at your analytics and see what's working for you and what isn't, because that's one of the best ways that you can really see how you're performing and what you can do better. Also, like we said before, Twitter is very active in a community. So one of the best ways to get acclimated and participate is to get involved with relevant Twitter chats. If you see things going on related to your industry, get involved in them, because that's the best way to get more engagement and reach on your Twitter page. So as far as advertising, Twitter has something called promoted tweets. So it's a great way to reach your audience in a more direct way than just for waiting for organic reach. But promoted tweets can expand your reach more quickly, and they can allow people to discover your profile even if they don't follow your page or your related hashtags. So when you use a promoted tweet, it will show up just like a regular tweet, but the only difference is that it will notify the viewer that it is a sponsored / promoted tweet, so that they'll be able to be aware that and have that transparency. As far as costs, you pay a monthly fee as long as you want your promoted tweet to remain posted. Users can interact with promoted tweets in the same way they interact with organic content. So they usually cost between 50 cents to $2 for each action. So next we're going to go to the Twitter demo. So this is my Twitter page that I created. So we're going to, this is where you'll be able to see kind of the home page. So this will show content about all of the different groups that I'm following and all of their recent posts. This is the hashtag section. So this is where you can kind of see what's going on in your industry. You can see what's going on just as far as trending topics. But then a really good tool is you can, for example, search concrete. And so then you will see all of the top posts related to concrete. And then you'll also be able to see people, which is a really good resource if you're looking for more people involved in that industry. It will kind of give you a list of different groups that are related to what you searched. Same with photos and videos, it all kind of works the same. So if you were to search any type of hashtag or word, it would allow you to kind of see what is related to that word. Your notifications will show you if anyone has liked, commented, or retweeted or interacted with your content. Your messages, like we said, will give you, similar to Facebook, this is where you'll be able to see any direct messages that you've seen. Some of these two things are kind of different and from Facebook. So the first is bookmarks. So if you're on Twitter and you see something that you don't want to forget about or something that you think would be helpful for the future, you can bookmark it and it will show up here. So that way, if you're seeing, it's kind of like if you're liking something and you want to keep it top of mind, you can put all of your bookmarked tweets in one place. Next is lists, which is a really good resource. So let's say you follow hundreds of different people and they're in different groups. So you want to follow all of the sports people that you follow. You can create a sports list and then put all of the people that you follow related to that into that list, so that if I were to go here and select sports, I could see all of the most recent updates related to the sports people that I follow. And you can do that with really any list that any type of group that you want to create. Next, we're going to go down to, this is your profile where you can set up any additional info that you want. Over here is going to tell you what's happening. So this is another place on the side where you can see some of the trending topics. As you can see, at the time that I recorded this, the Republican National Convention and the Bill and Ted 3 movie were trending topics. And then if you were to click them specifically, so I'm going to go down and click Found in Pandora's Box. This will show you all of the top topics trending that people have posted about related to Found in Pandora's Box. So you can kind of keep an eye on what's going on related to that hashtag and see what people are posting about. So over here, if you wanted to search people, this would allow you to search for different groups or different people based on your location. You can also do an advanced search there. Right here, this is where you can write your content, and you would share and it would have the 280 character limit, and you could add photos or videos. So next, we're going to go a little bit into LinkedIn. So to start off, LinkedIn demographics favor those with professional careers. So currently there are 675 million monthly users and 30 million companies on LinkedIn. 51% of Americans with a college education use LinkedIn. And it's also interesting to note, it's kind of different from some of the other platforms, the amount of times that people visit per day is a lot less. So only 9% of US users visit LinkedIn more than once a day, 12% visit daily, and 23% visit several times a week. Also, the percentage of men and women using LinkedIn is pretty similar. As a primarily professional networking social platform, it makes sense because it reflects the current workforce that everyone is seeing right now. Also, by a wide margin, the US has the highest number of users on the platform with 160 million users. Following next is India at 61 million. So when you're considering what type of content to post on LinkedIn, there's a couple things to keep in mind. The first is to engage with private messages. So LinkedIn allows you the opportunity to reach out to people directly, and it can kind of allow you to create a more direct approach to your marketing strategy. Also, as with every platform, engagement is essential, so always engage with your followers. Establish yourself as an authority, as a resource. This will significantly build up the trust factor with your connections and prospects. And providing content that your prospects derive value from is the best way to position yourself as an expert. Also, be consistent. So just as important as what you post, it's also really important how often you post. If you share content only once in a while randomly, you will fail to create the same level of authority or trust as someone who is consistently posting. Also, share blog posts. So on LinkedIn, there's a couple ways that you can do this. They have a native publishing platform where you can create content directly through the social network. You can click write an article on the top of your feed and write your blog post directly on LinkedIn. Another option is if you have a website or blog, you can share and link to that blog on your LinkedIn page. Also, you can share third-party content. LinkedIn is really about starting conversations about the industry and business. So sometimes that means talking about other things, and you want to share content that is relevant to your audience. Also include photos and videos. Text-only posts do have their place on LinkedIn, but as with every social platform, your engagement and reach will increase if you use photos. You can also use LinkedIn to post important event updates and original research. So if you have the capability to post original resource, this can help to increase your value and authority as a resource. Also, share industry collateral. Any news, updates, research related to your industry can be shared on LinkedIn and to your followers. Also, another great tool to use on LinkedIn is to share links to presentations. So if you're doing webinars or presentations, you can post those online and then link to your shared presentation so that they can really reach a wider audience. So as far as advertising, LinkedIn offers 4 specific types. So the first is sponsored content, and these are basically boosted posts from your company's own feed. They typically have a headline, image, and a link. And you have the option, you can create carousel ads, which would be ads kind of like a little video playing. You could add lead generation ads that appear in the same boosted format. Next is LinkedIn sponsored InMail. So I'm not sure if you've ever logged into your LinkedIn and had 10 new messages, but it's likely that some of those are marketers popping into your inbox through sponsored InMail. So it will notify you that it's a sponsored content, and you can, if you wanted to use this feature, you can create a list of contests to send content. I'm sorry, you can create a list of contacts to send personalized messages to. Next is programmatic display ads. So with these ads, you're able to target the largest professional audience based on LinkedIn profile data, things like photo, company name, job title, and more. So you can really direct your ads to reach a certain audience. The last are dynamic ads. And with these, you can promote job postings, content downloads, your own company page, or drive traffic to a specific website. This ad type also has set templates and auto translation options to make personalizing the ad creative easy for you. As far as the cost, LinkedIn advertising costs are determined by your budget. So this really means that your overall spend will really vary depending on your business and what your goals are, because it would determine the certain types of ads that you create. However, they do have a couple minimums that I've listed here, with a $10 daily budget per campaign, $10 total budget per campaign, which is an optional feature for sponsored content, and a $2 bid for cost per click or cost per 1,000 impressions on text ad campaigns. So the last thing we're going to do is just take a look at this demo video for LinkedIn, and then we can, if you have any questions, you can submit them now and I'd be happy to answer them. So this is my LinkedIn page. So when I log on, I'm able to see these are all of the different people that I may follow. This is where you see your messages that are coming in, and I'm going to click one that is a sponsored. As you can see, it says sponsored right here, and this is really something that was sent to me from a marketer who was trying to get me to potentially work with their company. So you can see I have a couple of those as someone who actively uses LinkedIn. Next, we're going to go to the ACI chapter activities page. So this is the page that I'm a manager of, which you can see here. So if you scroll down, you can kind of see that this is some of the content that has been posted lately. So you can see some of the stuff that people have shared, and then some of my specific. These are the notifications. This will show you not only the notifications for the page that you're a manager of, but it will give you info if anybody has viewed your specific page as well. Here you can manage your notifications, update your settings, leave the group. And next, we're going to show how you actually would create the content. So right here, start a conversation in this group is where you can select the content that you want to create. So in this option, you have the option to add a video, a photo, or a document. They also have a couple interesting features where you can do things like celebrate an occasion, add a job, find an expert, create a poll, different options that kind of aren't available to a lot of the other platforms that are out there. So if we have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them now.
Okay, Emily, it looks like we do have one question that has come in, and it says, can you create a LinkedIn profile for a chapter, or does it have to be for an individual?
You can create one for a chapter. The way it works is that if you wanted to create it, you could go into your LinkedIn profile and then create a page, and so then you would be the manager of that page. You would also have the ability to then assign other people who you may want to manage the page as well. But the way that LinkedIn works is that it would start with your profile and you creating that chapter activity page.
Thanks, Emily. I do want to remind our attendees that you may use the question box to submit any questions that you may have. And I do want to remind everyone, I'll give you guys a few minutes if you do have questions so that they can come in. I want to remind everyone that our next webinar is scheduled on Wednesday, September the 2nd at 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. We have two phenomenal speakers, so you guys don't want to miss out on that. And the title of our webinar is, Are You Covered for That? Learn more about your ACI chapter insurance coverage. So if you're on the line today and you're a US or a Canadian chapter and you haven't registered, I would suggest that you register today because that's going to be a great webinar. And Emily, it looks like we have another question that has come in. For a small organization, what is the most cost-effective use of your advertising budget? For example, on Facebook, cost per click or per impression?
I think that would depend on what your goal is. So obviously getting somebody to actually click your ad would be highly effective. I know when you're just looking on a Facebook page and you're scrolling, you see lots of different ads. So I think that you can find a lot more value out of somebody who's actually clicking your ad, because that's really showing you somebody who is actually interested in learning more about what you do. There, you'll see tons of ads, but me seeing them doesn't really make a difference if I'm not actively interested and clicking it. So I think the best bang for your buck would be doing cost per click, because that would really help you to find and really distinguish who is actually interested in your services or your chapter.
Okay, and it looks like that's our last question, Emily. I want to thank you for a great presentation today. And this concludes today's webinar presentation. We hope that all of our attendees enjoyed it and learned some tools that they can use to navigate throughout their social media platform. I hope that everyone has a great day and stay safe.
Thank you.